All right, good morning and welcome to the final daf in Maseches Chagigah and in Seder Nashim. This is an unbelievably happy time in my life that I'm finishing. I finished Seder Zroim, which was only one Masechta, and Seder Nashim. That means we're 1/3 of the way through Shas. Only another 5 years till see my Shas. And to celebrate, I have a cocktail over here, cranberry juice and vodka. The principal ingredients in a cosmopolitan. Let me explain the connection between cosmopolitan drink and the Siyum Maseches Seder Moed. Cosmopolitan means literally a person who knows a lot of people from different countries, different languages, able to interact with a lot of people. The word Moed, it says Moed in the Torah. Moed are times when you're supposed to meet people. Who are you supposed to meet? You're supposed to meet women. You're supposed to date women. Before you get married. Seder Nashim is when you get married to the woman, you make commitments to the woman, but Seder Moed is all different ways of dating. Everyone thinks dating is very simple. You go to a hotel lounge, maybe you go to the zoo, maybe you go to a restaurant. No. There's a whole Seder in Shas. You know, a good 1/4 of Shas talks about how you meet women in different ways. Chagigah is a party. One of the ways we've been talking about, Moed Katan, for example, is Moed Katan, a place where you play setters of Catan, board games during Chol Moed, during Avelos, you play those, and we'll have to get in when we go back and review all the other Masechtas, how they relate to dating. But a cosmopolitan, someone you have to be able to date people from a lot of different languages, a lot of different countries. So a cosmopolitan is l'chaim to this idea of Seder Moed, finishing Seder Moed, and hopefully people will be mechazek in the Indian of Peki Shod, of Moed, of meeting women in the right way, based on the Torah. The Torah talks about this. You thought it was just advice you get from your Rav. No. There's a whole Seder in Shas talking about this. Let's drink l'chaim. It's good. Cosmopolitan. L'chaim to that. I had a video before with all my other friends who joined me in the special Siyum. Let's get right to it. Let's get to finishing Maseches Chagigah, Seder Moed. The Gemara says here on the top, Shkoyach, thanks for joining me. Hey. L'chai. Oh, I do a l'chaim with someone in the camera. Me, Jay, no one saw me drinking. L'chai, see your face. I need to see your face. L'chaim! Achi Ezer, v'benzi, shotim l'chaim. You're a man. I prefer women, so I'm not gonna be able to meet you. But we can drink together. L'chaim. Yeah. It is Adar. It is Purim soon. L'chaim. Shkoyach. All right. Gemara says. About 6 lines from the top of Zayin and Aleph. It mentions that the Mishnah mentioned the reason that the Mizbeach doesn't need Tevilah is because they're called Adama. They're called made out of earth. Earth is not Makabel Tuma. How do you know Mizbeach and Achoshes? Whereas Mizbeach and Achoshes, the copper altar, the one outside the Heichal, Tichsiv Mizbeach Adama Tasali, it says Mufurish. It's a Mizbeach made out of Adam. It's also made out of wood. And Achoshes, Mizbeach Hazav, how do you know Mizbeach Hazav is called a Kli Adama? It's made out of Adama also. The Menorah of Mizbachot Iskish, Mizbachot Zelazet. It says Mizbachos is a plural, so 2 Mizbachos, Mizbeachs. So 1 Mizbeach is an Achoshes, 1 Mizbeach is Mizbeach Hazav. So just like the Mizbeach and Achoshes, it's called a Kli Adama, so too Mizbeach Hazav is also called a Kli Adama. Chacham say the reason that they're not Makabel Tumah is because they're plated with, in the case of Mizbeach outside, Machutz, Nechoshes, Mizbeach, Zahav, inside the Heichal, it's plated with gold. Adarabba, and the Gemara asks, Kevan, the Mitzupin, once they're plated, Ninu, Mitamu, they're plated with metal. Metal we know is Makabel Tumah, so they should Makabel Tumah. So where is Ema, you must say, Chacham Mitamim, Neishahim, and Supim. Chacham say, or Mitame, because they are plated. Iba Yisema, Rabbanon l'Relezer ka'amri. Rabbanon to Relezer say, my daitra. Mishum Mitzupa, and they're saying to the Rebbe Lezer says the reason they're not Mekabel Tuma is because their Kli eats Asur Denachas. Because the reason you have to say is because Miftal Batal Zipuyan Gabayu. The Rabbanan say to Lezer that the plating is Batal to the Kli. So therefore, it's a Kli 8. The Rabbanan are saying it's a Kli 8. And therefore, it's Kli 8 Asur Nachas, not for moving, so therefore it's not Mekabel Tuma. Not like you, Rebbe Lezer says, Kli Adama. That's the reason Mekabel Tuma. You don't have to say that. You can just say because the Sipuyan or Batal, Lezer held it has to be because of Kli Adama, because the Sipuyan, the plating should have made it Mekabel Tuma, therefore you say Kli Adama. When I say you don't have to say it's Batal, the Sipuyan are Batal to the Mizbeach. So therefore, the Iker is the 8th sentence, Kli Eis Asal Nachas. Amar Rabbi Abau, now I got it to finish off the Masechta on a high or low note, depending on my explanation. Amar Rabbi Abau, Amar Lezer, Talmid Chachamim ein or shel Gehenim shalatet behen. Talmid Chachamim, the or of Gehenim is not sholit b'hem. We're going to see this is a topic of Iyun ben Sion to finish it off on a high note with Iyun ben Sion. Maybe not a high note for some people's opinions. Ein or shel Gehenim shalatet behen. Gehenim's fire is not sholit. What does the word sholit mean? Sholit means it doesn't consume them. Is that a good thing or a bad thing? We'll see in a second. Kava chomer mi salamandra. We learned about salamandra. Now, I always thought salamandra was a salamander. When I was in camp younger, they used to collect salamanders after it rained. These orange little lizards with red dots. Also says it's a mouse. Rashi says it's an animal was created from the fire. I don't know exactly. It's created from the fire. If you take its blood and you anoint your skin with it, fire will not consume you. Their whole body is filled with fire. My words are like fire, says Hashem. Certainly, the Eish of Gehenim is not shaletes behen. Amar Reish Lakish, and Or Shlaghem Shalatis Poshe Yisrael. Shaki says one better. You think that it's not Shalatis Talmid Chachamim. Even by Poshe Yisrael, people in Poshem are people do amazing. They sin on purpose. The Or Shlaghem doesn't affect them. Kava Chomer Mizbeach Hazav. Learn from Mizbeach Hazav. Ma Mizbeach Hazav Shein Alav Elok Uvi Dinar Zav. It only has a thickness of a coin of Zav. It's not so thick. Kama Shanim in Or Shalatis Bo. We've lit the Torahs on it for many years. It never ruined the wood underneath. Poshe Yisrael, Shemalei and Mitzvos Karimon, Poshe Yisrael that have a lot of mitzvos like a pomegranate, like a slice of pomegranate is your temples. Not temples, rather the empty people in you. The empty people in you, the Poshe Yisrael, the people who do Averas, they still are Mali Mitzvos Karimon. They have mitzvos like a Rimon. Now, let's finish off with Iyun ben Sion for today. We know one question over here. I mean, this is the fundamental question over here. The Gemara makes a statement. The Gemara is out of this way to say, Talmid Chachamim, they're great, right? Ein or shalatis gehem shalatis behen. So what is Reish Lakish saying? Okay, Talmid Chachamim ein or shalatis gehem shalatis behen doesn't consume them. You know, Poshe Yisrael. Now, Poshe Yisrael, the exact opposite, seemingly, of Talmid Chachamim. Talmid Chachamim are tzaddikim. They try to do the right thing all the time. Poshe Yisrael, not only they sin, sometimes Talmid Chachamim sin by accident, but never b'mezid. Poshe Yisrael is amazing. So it seems like these polar opposites over here. What's the Maila that Ein Or Shaletes B'Hem Talmid Chachamim if the same thing applies if you do Averos b'mezid? This is a very fundamental question. It's a very bothersome question, and I believe the answer is found. And we know by Moshe Rabbeinu, he saw the sneh boer, it was burning with fire. The sneh reference to Talmidei Chachamim. They're humble, like a thorn bush without any leaves. They're very humble. It was burning, but it wasn't consumed. It was never consumed. If you look very carefully, there's a difference between sholetes. There's two ways to use the word sholetes. Shaletas means it doesn't affect them. They don't light on fire. They're not burned by it. Or it means they are affected by it, but it doesn't consume them, meaning it doesn't destroy them. I think those are the two ways of understanding it in these two statements. The first statement, the Gemara brings a reference in our Shalatis, and they say, they're always on fire. They're burning all the time. So in our Shalatis, the miracle is they're not consumed by the fire. They don't get destroyed by the fire. They're always burning. Posha Yisrael, on the other hand, in our Shaletas Behen, we learn out from the fact of Mizbeach Hazav. Mizbeach Hazav is not made out of fire. It's not the Or Shalet. It's not the wood underneath is always burning on fire. Is that the wood never gets affected at all. In our Shalet Behen, different meaning Shaletis, the wood actually never gets affected at all by the fire. So there's two different ways. In our Shalet, it's not burnt at all, or like the Nechamim are completely burning, but they never get consumed. They know like the Sneh Boer and in Ochal is never consumed. I don't know if I should finish this thought because it might leave a bad taste. That's a good taste, but it might leave a bad taste in some people's mouths. But you know what? I'll say it anyway because I'm Ben Silang and I give a unique share. If you haven't figured it out already, I always say this. I've said this many times. From Sechas Rosh Hashanah, we learn this that the highest madrega is not tzaddikim, it's not rishonim. It's Beinonim, and Beinonim are the highest level of people. They balance. They are able to strike a balance between being a tzaddik, which is a good thing certain times, to always follow the rules, and a Rosh who never follows the rules. If you're a Beinoni, you know how to balance it. Meaning the problem with being a tzaddik, it's a good thing. Morally, it's a good thing to always do the right thing, to follow the halachas, to follow the laws. But the problem is that you'll get taken advantage of. This world is a cruel world. There's a lot of evil people in this world, and you'll be taken advantage of. You'll be an anav, and you'll get stomped on by everybody else. That's what happens to tzaddikim. They get stomped on. They don't speak up. They're not assertive enough, aggressive enough to take a stand. Maybe politically, maybe hashkafically, they'll take a stand when it gives to their sermon or when it comes to their musar shmuz. But personal matters, they get stepped on. A Russia, someone takes advantage of other people. But to be someone balanced, a Beinoni, is someone who's able to stand up for his own rights, assertive, aggressive, even having fun. And he doesn't trample on other people. That's a hard thing. To not get trampled, know how to answer back to people, not get trampled on by other people, and know also not to trample other people. That is the highest level of Beinoni, and that's what the Gemara means here by Posha Yisrael. They do mitzvahs b'mezid, aviras b'mezid. Sometimes you have to be mean to people. If people are mean to you, you have to, I wouldn't say get revenge, because the Torah is not supposed to get revenge, but there are ways of getting revenge. For example, someone really bothered me in my building about giving money for something I really believe I didn't have to give. So, either I don't give it, be a Rosh, or be a tzaddik and give the money. So I worked out, I struck a quarter balance. I paid the guy, I had a bunch of 10 agurot. He wanted 80 shekel. I think I paid him most of the money in 10 agurot. That would be 10 coins for every shekel. I gave him, and I took an envelope and I filled it up with these 10 agurot coins. So listen, I paid the guy. I'm not a Russia, but I'm not a tzaddik, because it's going to be hard to use that money. It's pretty much worthless, those 10 agurot, unless you schlep them to the bank to get your change for it. So that's striking a balance. That's the Gemara says. They have mitzvos. Even they do averos with mazid. Sometimes they have to fight back against people. They also have mitzvos. They also do things in the proper way. They strike that balance. And in those people, in our shaletzah means that they'll never even get affected by the fire. Tzaddikim, it's not a good thing that they're they're always burning. Burning is not a good thing, to be on fire. If you've ever been in a fire or touched something very hot even, you know how painful it is. Kol shkein, as a shalom, for people to actually be tamid, always in a fire. I mean, you can't think of something more painful, excruciatingly painful than that. And the worst thing is that it doesn't end. And then ukal, it's never consumed. It's never, like we said over here, it's not shaletis ben, not shaletis. That doesn't rule over them. It doesn't consume them. It doesn't destroy them. It keeps them burning for a long time. Hopefully in Olam Haba it'll be stopping. But this is a word. I think it's a positive note because it gives us an ability to strike a balance in life and not to always be a tzaddik or be a Russia. Hey, my friends came. They want to drink with me. Hey, come. So why'd you come in here? What's your name? Come here. You're my friend. You came to the other drinking party. Come. Wish me a mazel tov. Say only mazel tov. All right. Anyway, my friends have forsaken me over here. They didn't like my word, but anyway, that's the truth. We'll leave it off with Seder. Mesachas Chagigah Seder Moed. We'll be starting with Hashem a new Seder, Nashim Mesachas Yomos tomorrow. My wife and I had a interesting discussion last night, trying to figure out, people are just not tuning in. Why are people ignoring me? I do provide probably the most entertaining share in the world and probably the most entertaining content on YouTube. So why are people not tuning in? And her main premise is that the world is a very serious place, and people are very serious. They're more into meaningful things. Like, I think it's Meaningful Minute has a app or something like that. People are very into finding meaning in life. This guy Shlomi Zion's goes to different countries. He details the random Jewish things, that they milk a cow there, how they kosher chickens. I don't know exactly. In India, I don't know. People find this meaningful. It's meaningful that people find this. Or he goes to Arab countries and makes peace with one Arab. I don't know. I mean, people find this meaningful and significant, and that's most of the videos on the platform. People are too serious. I'm sorry, people are way too serious. But my wife said, if you really want to get people, you have to lower yourself to their level, because they're not going to join you. They don't want to hear antics over here, especially about Daf Yomi, Shir Torah. It's a chashuv thing. You don't want to belittle it. You don't want to make it. It's supposed to be it's not supposed to be a fun thing. It's supposed to be a serious thing. Because the Torah is very serious, right? The Torah wants you to be in pain and suffer while you learn it. Or according to some tzaddikim, the simcha Torah makes you happy, but pnimius, only pnimius. And inside it makes you happy. On the outside, you're a serious person. You don't say hello to anybody. You always have a frown on your face. So that's Talmid Chacham. Only when you make a siyum, and then the rikud, and they dance for like 5 minutes, then they go back to being serious and putting their black hat over their eyes. But she has a point. She's right. And we worked out a deal. This is the strategy. The strategy is, hope you don't see this, because strategy is like this, that what I can provide is Enoch Ben Sion Chiddush, because I do know how to make Kiddushin probably better than most people. And Yevamos is Nashim Nezikin. We're starting Nashim Nezikin, which is the Yeshiva Masechtas, where people learn, where all the Lamdas Svarim are written, and all the Lamdas takes place. So I'm going to be reintroducing you with Ben Sion on a serious note. And even with the Yomi Shir, I'm going to try to cut out some of the pranks, some of the fun stuff, because that's the way the world is. They want to be serious. I have to lower myself to their level, or not lower, or higher myself to their level, whatever you want to look at it, heighten myself. So I'm trying to make it more serious. I'm telling you right now, it's just a ploy, because I am my own personality, and I don't want to be deceitful to myself. I really want to be my true self, but I really need people to join me. I want people. I want for myself. I want a bigger audience. I want to interact with more people. I want people to leave comments. I want to become a bigger voice on YouTube. And so I'm going to try to make it more serious, especially Ian Ben Sion. You should check it out. You're not going to find a better Ian in 8 minutes. Most people learn Daf Yomi. You can hear a great Ian share in 8 minutes, around 8 minutes on Lamdisha Masechtas, on Yeshivisha Masechtas, and you can enjoy it, and then join me for the Daf Yomi, which will be serious, again, under a half an hour. Of course, then a little banter, maybe with Shmuel, or try to get a person to sit next to me. But after the first 5 minutes, we'll go into serious mode. Try to keep it a little more serious, a little more meaningful, so people can find meaning and say to their rabbi, I found meaning in life. I found the purpose in life. I figured it out. I know the Torah is trying to teach me to be a depressed and meaningful person. The Torah, I'll just say right now, before I go into serious mode, is that the Torah, if you really understand the Torah, it's supposed to be about having a good time and enjoying life. That is the whole point of the Torah, is to enjoy life, teach you how to enjoy life. Have a good time, have fun, enjoy, experience life, be happy in life, really happy. And happiness does not mean drinking a coffee in the morning and feeling a little happiness when you eat a meal, when you eat your schnitzel with ketchup. You're going to be real happy. You dance, you have fun, you make jokes. Making jokes is the best thing. I'm sure you could see it from my shir. So anyway, we'll be on a more serious note, a little more serious note as we go to Yevamos, and hopefully people will join me, continue with the shir. There's not really too many good antics I can do with my ocean spray and my absolute vodka. So I'll have to shelve them for a while, maybe till the next Siyum. And I'm going to have some serious, meaningful talk about Masechtas Yevamos and Kadima Ben Sion. Hopefully I'll see you and people will start joining this movement, the new Daf movement. And we'll see you on the other side, the new Seder Nashim, Masechtas Yevamos, starting tomorrow.